All right, we're back. Next lesson number, I think this is number 5, going where we have not been, rise of past technology. Again, I'm your professor for this. My name is Jamil Moni, and this time we're going to talk about smart cities. All right, let's jump right into it. All right, so overall, man's goal. What's man's goal? Man's goal is simply to make the future better than it has been in the past. And so in order to do that, they are going to use technology to maximize that opportunity. Okay, that's not a bad thing. Again, you've heard me say already that love is not bad, money is not bad, technology is not bad. It's all about who uses it, and it's all about how they use it. And so that's why we have to have definitions of what love and what healthy use of money and healthy use of technology. Ethics, I guess, is the term that we should be using for that. Okay, so smart cities is basically a hybridization of modern technology, communication, and the operations within a city. And the goal is to ultimately benefit both the citizens of a city, right, as well as those who lead the city operations. Okay, so all in all, basically, it's like having like all the city operations measured and used to what's the best way I can say it? Make sure that we're efficiently using them. You know what I'm saying? So we're not wasting. So we're talking about anything healthcare, anything energy related, internet, water, transportation, even our buildings, our roads. All of that is included. And so basically, we're using AI. We're using what we call IoT, which is another term that I didn't talk about in this book, but it's definitely coming down the pipeline, and it's called the Internet of Things, right? And so the Internet of Things is basically using the 5G plus network and sensors to connect all things in a particular area, or it can be globally. So the idea of a smart city is basically to connect your buildings, your transportation, your water, your healthcare, your energy, homes, all to an internet or connected to the internet, uses sensors, using AI. And so when you do that, then you can scan and measure the use of all of the resources that are in a city to make sure that we aren't overusing and that there's enough to go around and that all people have access to it. Okay. What is the purpose of that? Well, if you don't know, most cities in our world, they use, or collectively, they use about 75% of all of the Earth's resources and energy. That's the main reason. Okay. So the goal is in smart cities to definitely improve traffic. So those of you who stay in major cities, you know what traffic is like. And so one of the ways that a smart city would help is with the decrease in the amount of traffic jams that we have, as well as accidents. And so how are they going to do that? Autonomous vehicles. Okay. Because then when the cars are autonomous, they use AI and then they're hooked to the IoT in a particular city, then what happens is then the infrastructure and the smart system can decide the best route for traffic, times of day, et cetera, et cetera. So we got improvement for traffic using smart cars. We have pollution decrease, which gets rid of greenhouse gases, which is good for the environment. Public transportation is provided, and it helps decrease, again, another way to decrease traffic, because traffic is probably one of the number one issues that most urban cities have. So, you know, when we say urban, we're talking about like not country. So we're talking like main cities. So like I live in North Carolina, so we're talking Charlotte, we're talking Greensboro, we're talking Raleigh, you know, places like that. Wherever the major city attraction is, which is usually the largest city, that's urban. So that's when people move from the country into the city. And so remember, we talked about with the industrial revolutions, that was one of the byproducts of the industrial revolution, is that manufacturing new jobs caused people to leave the country life and move to the city. Okay. Also, smart cities, one of their top priority goals is to definitely bring a reduction in the amount of energy and water consumption. Okay. So basically what they want to do is connect all the infrastructure in a city to the internet so it can be evaluated and assessed to make sure that we're using it in the most efficient manner. That's basically what a smart city does. So they use sensors on everything to gather critical data. And then the overall goal is to make sure that we're only using like public utilities when needed. And so by that, I mean like street lights. So like if instead of having the street lights on all night, you know what I'm saying, certain places, like when you go through, if the lights will be out, and then when you get there, it'll come on, like my classroom. Okay. When I leave out of here, even if I don't turn off the light switch, after a certain amount of time, it'll detect there's no movement, there's nobody in here, and the lights are shut off. But as soon as I walk back in, they'll come back on. Okay, what is that? That's energy conservation. So it's already out, you know what I'm saying? We just haven't seen like the futuristic versions of the smart cities, but there are some cities like in America that consider themselves smart already, like Washington and San Francisco and even New York. I know Singapore is a country that considers itself a smart city currently. And basically, we're just looking at stuff like, I mean, if you just look in regular life, like in your home, you got, like my car is smart. It's not autonomous, but it's pretty smart. Like it won't let me lock my keys in the trunk. You know what I'm saying? I can't lock my doors with the key still inside. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't open the door and look and try to back up with the door open. Like it'll put it in neutral, like automatically, you know what I'm saying? So that's a variation of smart, but it's not autonomous where I don't have to manually drive the car. So we're talking about cars that are smarter. We're talking about, think about some of your coffee machines are smart, your vacuum cleaner, your homes. Some of them have smart heating and cooling. Some of you have the lights in the house that go on and off based on people being there. So all of these are examples and things that we have currently seen that are moved toward the bigger picture of the futuristic smarter cities. Now, if you want to know what a futuristic smart city looks like, you can look up the Line in Saudi Arabia, or you can look up Net City in China, or another one is the Maldives floating city that's in Maldives. You can look up those three. Those will show you what the future of smart cities would look like, especially the Line and Net City. You know what I'm saying? Those are probably some of the key factors that what people are looking forward to. Okay. They also call them 15-minute cities, which means that you can go anywhere in the 15-minute time period. You know what I'm saying? Smart cities have a lot of good opportunities that can be taken advantage of, but it also can be bad too, because basically you forego like privacy for improved city life, less traffic, better resources, probably cheaper bills. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So that's just the basic cover of smart cities. I actually think it's a pretty good idea. All right. Let's talk about God's smart cities, because he's had them for a really, really long time. All right. Probably the most relevant one would be New Jerusalem. You know, Jesus is returning. He's coming back. So if you aren't saved, you need the Romans 10:9. Confess your faults. Confess your sins. Acknowledge that Jesus Christ was raised from the dead by his dad. Okay. And you will be saved. You know what I'm saying? Accept the Lord Jesus into your heart. Okay. Because he's coming back. And when he come back, he is bringing a city here called New Jerusalem. Now, I'm just going to read off about 12 things about this city that makes it a smart city. Okay. You can find this in Revelation chapter number 21. All right. So apparently John goes to this city and he sees it. And this is what he writes. He says, there is no death, no pain, no sorrow. It looks like it's 12 stories, has 12 entry points, 3 on each side. So think about a rectangle or think about a square, whichever one. It has 3 entries on each side. There is an angel at each gate. It's made of 12 kinds of stone. So it's really architecturally sound and beautiful to see. There's no sun there. There's no moon. There's no need for electricity. Obviously, it is powered by the living God that lives there, him and his son. There's also no nightfall. It's 1,400 by 1,400. miles, apparently. There's one major river there that's clear as crystal. The street there is made of gold. There are 12 kinds of trees there with 12 kinds of different fruit that apparently bloom and blossom at the top of the month. And apparently that the fruit and the leaves on these trees have the ability to heal whole nations. So that's why there's no sickness there. So the food portion that is there is extremely healthy. Okay, is literally designed to cause the human body, which will have a integrative body then, which will still apparently eat. You know what I'm saying? And so the food there is 100% healthy. There's no evil, no crime. There's no need for greenhouses or renewable energy. The king there, who is Jesus, actually sits on a throne that has aerodynamic capability. So I don't know if that says that the people there will have the ability to fly, or if there will be other aerodynamic vehicles there. But he has one. So his throne is like a throne and a spaceship at the same time. That's also talked about in Ezekiel chapter number 1. Okay. There's no malfunction in the infrastructure. So this is going to be an amazing place to live. I personally plan on going, and I hope you do too. And it's called New Jerusalem, and you can find it in Revelation chapter 21. There are 3 other smart cities or smart style cities in the Bible. One of them is found in Genesis chapter 2 and 3 is when it talks about the Garden of Eden. The Garden of Eden was a smart city. Okay, everything about this place was top of the line. Like, it had a lot of the qualities of this New Jerusalem, like with the no death, no pain, no sorrow. You know what I'm saying? The food there wasn't for actual nutrition. It was actually a reward system. I think you heard me talk about that earlier. Amazing place. And so this New Jerusalem is going to be a lot like the Garden of Eden. Okay. Number 2, the Goshen. There was a city called Goshen that the children of Israel actually lived in when they moved into Egypt. So remember when Joseph became one of the monarchs of Egypt, he moved his family, who were 70 people, down into Egypt. They moved into a place called Goshen. But this place, Goshen, became a smart city, especially, and it showed whenever the plagues came, because it was shielded by some kind of force field from like all of the plagues that came upon Egypt. So when it was dark, Goshen had light. You know what I'm saying? The frogs, the gnats, the hail, the cattle, none of the plagues that hit Egypt hit this place. So it was protected. Right. And so the living there increased. And not only that, that even when there was a plague that came that was killing the firstborn animals and humans, there was a blood vaccine found in Goshen that the rest of the world did not have. And so none of their males, firstborn males of the animals or the humans, died. Okay. Then there's a place called Elam in Exodus chapter 15. So after the children of Israel endure about 400 years of slavery, God brings them out. We know with his strong arm, he sends the plagues. Moses leads them out. Remember, they crossed the Red Sea. They're traveling through the desert. You know what I'm saying? There's no water. There's no food. They come to a place called Elam, and this place was scorched. It was trashed. You know what I'm saying? But God turned this place into a smart city. Okay. He literally transformed this place into like an oasis, almost like a semi-paradise or almost like a resort. Because by the time that the children of Israel get to this barren place, there's like 70 palm trees and 12 wells of water. And they live here for 90 days. Okay, so this place went from deserted to thriving. It was almost like being at a vacation spot. Okay, so if you get a chance, check these out. Hopefully you learn something about smart cities. It's definitely something that is being discussed around the world. Be sure to look up some of the future cities like the Line or Net City in China. And be sure and check them out and let me know what you think. All right, we're almost there, guys. See you in the next lesson.